What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another stream on twitch.tv/regular gaming guys underscore. You can, of course, check us out every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And on Sundays from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Today, of course, is Tuesday. So that means me and Mitch, your anime bros, are back. Me and Mitch are back. We're here talking about our things that we want to talk about when it comes to, with regard to, with forever in reverence to anime. Mitch, how you doing today, bro?
Hey man, been fucking working a lot recently because of my job, but outside that, pretty okay.
You're
Been
doing pretty okay.
average past couple of days.
That's good. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Yeah, of course, like we said, every Tuesday, me and Mitch get together at usually 6 p.m. Right here on twitch.tv/regular gaming guys underscore. You can check it out live, of course, be a part of the chat, be in here, hanging out, vibing with us, having a good time, blasty blast, all that good stuff. But if not, we of course post this every Wednesday over on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/regular gaming guys. Today we are talking about Berserk. We're gonna be doing a full, not a full review of Berserk. We're gonna be doing our first 6 episodes. Last week we challenged each other to watch the first 6 episodes of Berserk on, excuse me, watch the first 6 episodes of Berserk on YouTube. There's a gentleman out there that has the first 6 episodes. Comments are not comments, but the link is down in the comment section below. You can get it there, and yeah, go check it out for yourself. Let us know what you think of it. Before we get into Berserk, Paco. Before we get into Berserk, Mitch, what are you watching right now, bro?
Only other thing I'm watching, excuse me, outside Berserk has been Jobless Reincarnation, which I was telling you guys about that last week. I finished it up. Pretty solid anime. I actually really like it. The only problem is the scenes that I talked to you about off stream. It's just the whole idea of this 13-year-old boy. I mean, he starts when he's like a baby too, being like the way he is, you know.
Yeah,
I'm not really digging that, but the fights in there are cool enough to where I'm gonna keep watching the series. But I'll just make sure I watch it at home.
Yeah, Jobless Reincarnation. It's I don't have my thing set up for. Hold on, you talking about it? I interrupt you then.
All good. I mean, I really didn't have anything else much to say about it. I mean, it's pretty good. So I think they're supposed to be getting an episode, or not episode, but season. I guess it's season 2. I don't even know if it's season 2 or season 3. Sometime in May of 2023, I think.
So if this is somebody's first episode, give the quick pitch of what this show is.
First episode?
No, this is somebody's first like no, this is somebody's first show. What, like us? Like they found us on YouTube randomly. What is the show about?
A quick synopsis of what Jobless Reincarnation is.
Yeah.
I mean, all it is a boy named Rudius. I can't remember his name in his past life, but he dies due to a car accident, and he gets reincarnated. It's a basic isekai. He gets reincarnated as a mage / warrior per se.
Yeah.
He's more so a mage in the series, though. I mean, his dad is a sword god, and his mother is just a basic mage. His dad wants him to be a sword person as well, but he really doesn't take to that as well. He takes more to the mage side of it, and so he pretty much throughout the series he's a mage. But it tells a story about how pretty much just he's growing up and overcoming how he was in the past, being his past life. His past life, he dealt through a lot of struggles because he was a overweight kid in high school who got bullied all the time. So he still remembers his past life, and he carries that with him. So pretty much it's like a 40-year-old boy, into it in a 13-year-old's body. Yeah. And he's 13 by the end of it. By the end of like the first season. But you see him from when you see him when he's a baby and up until now. It's pretty cool. The fight scenes are pretty fire.
Yeah, this is one that I'm watching right now as well, and I think it's really good too. I do thoroughly enjoy it. I do think the scenes that you're talking about are a little questionable. It is a little weird, even though technically his body is
40 years old.
Yeah, 13 or whatever. Like the fact that he is mentally is still like a grown ass man technically. Like I think it would be one thing, right, if we heard. I think what it is like we hear his voice as a grown man as opposed to hearing his voice as a kid in his head. And I think if we heard his voice as a kid in his head, it would be a little more.
It'd be way worse.
You think it'd be worse?
But I heard his voice as a
So like when he has thoughts, right? When he would have his thoughts, if his thoughts would be like him as a kid versus
with having him being his adult voice, at least I could think it was like a 40-year-old dude who has these thoughts versus a 13-year-old boy having those thoughts. So I think it would be worse.
Yeah, no, Yeah, there was a couple scenes in there that are a little bit questionable. So if you're, if you don't like the questionable type of material from anime, this may not be the anime for you. But I will say that I'm on, I think, episode 13, 14, somewhere around there. Hold on, give me a second, I'll find it. No, excuse me, I'm on episode 9. Episode 9, at right there, I think like that's kind of like a turning point where things kind of like do start to pick up. I want to ask you this question. I was gonna save it for later, but I think I might ask it now. The beginning of this show, I would say it's pretty slow, right?
Mhm.
Like I would say this show is like not extremely slow, but it is like pretty slow. I put it up there
Yeah.
with
No,
like,
that's pretty slow. It's pretty
yeah.
slow.
So for you, right? Because I'm always trying
Uh-huh.
to figure out what your tastes are as far as like when it comes to like anime and stuff like that, and like what keeps you going and stuff like that. And obviously, we make the joke about the quick steps and stuff like that. But for something like this, what kept you going, like watching this? Like why were you so invested in Rudius's story as opposed to something like what did we watch last week? Something like Boji's what we watched. Oh, reincarnation or not reincarnation. Ranking of Kings is what we watched last week. Um, there's another show that we watched here recently that was super slow that we both said we didn't like because it was super slow. Cannot remember the name of it.
The movie or the show?
I think it was either a movie or it was a show. No, it was it was a movie. It was either a movie or show. I don't remember.
Was it Akira?
It may have been.
It probably was Akira. 'Cause
It may have
that was
been.
outside. We've only done Akira, Ranking of Kings, and this now.
And House Moving Castle.
And How's Your Castle, right? But that wasn't. I didn't think.
Well, okay, so just a show. So slow shows in general, right? Like what kept you going here versus what keeps you going with the show that you don't think is good.
I mean,
but it
the
is
animations,
slow.
the animation style I liked a lot,
Uh-huh.
and then the fight scenes they did have at the very beginning that I did watch, I knew this was going to be pretty cool looking animation. I mean, the first, I don't know when Ghislaine ends up fighting the two bandits.
That episode was tough as hell.
That is so
that moment.
That scene. So that scene, that part right there is what kept me invested for the rest of the first season.
Gotcha.
I know the fight scenes can get to that caliber.
Gotcha.
That shit was so fire that I was okay with watching because that was dope as fuck. Right? I put that up there with Demon Slayer for Tengen versus Tengen versus Upper Six. Like that's how cool I thought that shit was.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that moment where she does the where like she jumps and like it does it like that weird like multicolored like flash, like the pixel colored flash or whatever. Oh, yo, this shit is fucking crazy. This shit is nuts.
For what it's worth, I thought I was gonna get more fights like that. And again, the fight scenes in the series are pretty fucking fire.
Yeah.
It's just I wish there was more. If there was more, it could help offset the uncomfortableness of the scene because he basically acts perverted. The main character.
Yeah, it's like a 40-year-old man. Yeah,
he's a typical pervert. Yeah, anime, but he's a little kid.
I don't say typical 40-year-old man. Let me not say that.
That's what makes it weird.
Yeah.
So it was hard to watch at some point. Like whenever a scene like that came up, I dead ass skipped over it. I just fast forward until when that scene was over. I just kept watching because I really wanted to see more of the fights. Yeah. I didn't care for that part of the story.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there are a lot of mature themes in that show. So I will say if mature themes and the uncomfortable, like the traditional uncomfortable things that come with anime that sometimes come with anime. If you're not into that, this may not be the show for you. But if you do like really cool action set pieces, I think this show has some of like the cooler set pieces. I wouldn't say coolest, but it definitely has some of the cool. Yeah, no, not typical 40-year-old man. But it doesn't have like the coolest, but it definitely has some really cool ones. You watching anything else besides this? Berserk?
I watched this and Berserk. That's it.
Okay.
I was gonna start K Project, but like I started Jobless Reincarnation before K Project.
Okay.
So I might go back to that next or starting tomorrow.
Yeah.
It just really depends on how I'm feeling. Because I saw like the first 30 or first 15 minutes of K Project and it looked like it was gonna be okay. And I got recommended from TikTok. Oh, it's raining now. I got recommended from TikTok, so I mean, we'll see if I really want to watch it. I'll probably watch the first 2 episodes, and that'll tell me if I'm going to continue to watch it. Gotcha. But if I don't watch that, I'm going to go back to TikTok and find more recommendations.
Cool. Yeah, no, I'm currently watching. I mean, it's funny how like we flip because I feel like last week we came in and asked you what you were watching, and you were just rattling off shit that you had been watching. I was like, oh shit, like, he's watching a whole bunch. I feel like I gotta step my shit up if I'm gonna like keep pace with him. But no, I went back and started watching Jobless Reincarnation and kind of continuing on from where the last episode that I remember me and Selena watching. What? Oh, baby peach. Anyway, no, I remember started from the last episode that I remember remember watching, and so I just kept going from there. And having it in English dub, I will say like makes it a lot easier, a lot better. I've noticed that I've slowly started to lean more towards going like trying to find things that have English dubs as opposed to watching a lot of subs. And not because like I don't like my feelings on subs have changed. I still think I don't want to say that's the superior way to watch it, but I do tend to enjoy the subbed version of shows more than the dubbed version of shows, just because I sometimes feel like the dubbed versions, because I'm sure it has something to do with the fact that like we understand exactly what they're saying, and so like to us it sounds kind of goofy with what they're saying, and like if the performance like it sucks because like if the performance is not good, the performance is really not good. Like if it doesn't hit, it does not hit, and I feel like because I feel like that a lot of that has to do with because we do understand what they're saying. Whereas in like, watching a sub, because I don't exactly understand their, I'm not really listening for the actual words that's coming out of the character's mouth. I'm just listening for the sound and, reading what's going on or whatever. It hits a little bit better. It feels a little bit better. So, cause who knows, over in Japan, they probably fucking hate, Tanjiro's voice. They probably hate, their version of dubs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They probably fucking can't stand him. But so I started watching Jobless Reincarnation. Have you heard Gyutaro's English dub? I have not heard Gyutaro's English dub voice yet. I have to go look for it.
Gyutaro from what?
Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer? Okay.
Yeah. But no, I'm watching Jobless Reincarnation. Like I said, I'm on episode 9. Thought that was pretty good. I started this show called Skeleton Knight. Okay. When I say started, I legit I did episode 1, and that's
what you texted me about, correct?
Yeah. I did episode 1, and that was kind of just it. I think this is gonna be. It reminds me of Goblin Slayer.
Okay.
But it seems like it's gonna be a lot more fun, if that makes sense.
Makes sense.
Where Goblin Slayer was like super like intense and super like dark and gritty and unnecessary at times or whatever. Skeleton Knight kind of feels more like it's an isekai, right? It's an isekai.
Yeah, I think I've actually seen this on TikTok. I haven't watched it, but I think I've seen part of it.
Okay. Yeah, no, this has I will say I have not seen that part. This does have episode 1 does have a Goblin Slayer-esque episode or scene.
Oh lordy.
It does have a Goblin Slayer-esque scene, but it doesn't go on as long as Goblin Slayers did, right? It kind of happens, it starts, and then like old boy shows up, and he pretty much just fucking works them, right? Like he cuts them in half, like right at the beginning, and then kind of just bops out, and then it rewinds back to the beginning of where he came from and how he got, or not how he got here, but he just wakes up and he's in this world now, and he starts like putting it together. But I recommended it for you, Mitch, because he's got this spell that's called it's like teleportation or something like that.
Okay.
And because of like the style of teleportation that it can only be used in short distances. And so it's kind of like a quick step. And this shit looked kind of fire when he do it. I was like, all right, this might be it. And then his spells and his abilities are actually pretty cool too. As well. I mean, I haven't met like I said, I've just watched the first episode. I haven't watched too much outside of that. But I definitely think I'm going to continue watching it. I think I'm going to keep going through to see what's going through. See where it ends up going.
We'll see if I like K Project. I won't. I'll probably finish K Project. But if I don't like K Project, I'll probably watch Skeleton Knight.
Got you. Yeah. So there's this. I started watching this or whatever. Vago says, personally, I finally started watching One Piece 2 days ago. Currently at episode 11. I'm not gonna go in since that's the case, and I know we got a lot of people that are also in chat right now. That probably aren't caught up with One Piece. If you are a longtime One Piece fan, or shit, not even if you're a longtime One Piece fan, if you are an anime fan in general, and you have not seen the latest episode of One Piece, just from an animation standpoint,
is it the one with Kaido?
Yes, with him, Kaido, and Big Mom.
Yeah,
that's that episode.
Yeah,
but
that shit all over TikTok.
But it's not just that one scene, right? Like that's the dope thing with that episode. It's not just that one scene. It is that entire episode. So there's two characters that are talking to each other, or it's like a flashback within a flashback, right? So there's
Mm-hmm.
a flashback of two characters talking to each other, and then it goes into another flashback of two other characters. One of the same characters from the first flashback are now talking to
Mm-hmm.
like somebody else from the another flashback or whatever, if that makes sense. And so it's kind of like Inception, Inception, you dream within a dream within a dream. But anyway, they're talking and they start talking about like Roger, like Gold Roger, and Ace is one of the characters that's there talking. I'm just gonna say that. Ace is one of the characters that's there talking. Ace is talking to somebody else and he's having a conversation with this person. And one person is talking about Gold Roger's adventures with Odin. And Ace is talking about Luffy. And he's talking about how Luffy acts as a person. And there's this beautiful moment where, and it's one of my favorite things about One Piece and how they always manage to like, it's a very, very slow burn, but they always find a way to make things like Oda always finds a way to make things like line up perfectly. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Where we've gotten Roger's story, like not a bunch of times, and we've got his story enough, and we've seen like flashbacks of his story, of his life, and everything like that. And if you see those things, you're kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Blah blah blah. That makes sense why he's like that or whatever. And then of course we're growing with Luffy, so we're seeing Luffy's story start to finish. And I think because we see Luffy's story, because we only think about where we're at currently with Luffy, not where we came from with Luffy, we don't think about his journey along the way. And so this flashback is really powerful because it takes it back to when Luffy, Ace, and one other character were little. And they're all talking about their dreams. And Luffy starts to talk about how he wants to be king of the pirates. And that causes the other character that Ace is talking to in the future past, if that makes sense. It causes them to think about when they read about Roger. And this is really beautifully animated scene where you've got Luffy on the one side, Roger on the other side, and they're both they're talking at the same time. They're saying different things, but they're kind of saying the same thing. And then like the moment where it clicks for the character about like, oh shit, Luffy really might become the next Pirate King because he feels the same way that Roger feels. He acts how Roger acts. He is the spiritual successor to Roger, right? But no, the way they do the animation for it is beautiful. It's gorgeous. If you haven't watched One Piece in a long time, if you like anime, I don't give a fuck. Go watch this episode. Watch this whole episode start to finish. It's so fucking good, bro. It is really powerful. It is a really powerful moment. It definitely has put One Piece in my like top 5 like favorite animated shows, close to all time, pretty much all time. I think that scene was really good. But no, I watched that. I'm watching like I said, Jobless Reincarnation. Also started Tamagotchi game as recommended by who recommended it last week? I forgot who recommended it last week.
It wasn't Vago.
It wasn't Vago. It was
Was it Brian? Was it a Brian?
I think so. That sounds right.
Was the guy? Yeah. It was
viewer
Brian.
recommendation last week. Yeah, Brian viewer recommendation last week. That recommended that we go and watch Tamagotchi game. So I was like, oh, let's get up and I'll go watch it. And yeah, Tamagotchi game, I don't like that. That shit's pretty good. First 3 episodes are out right now. Episode 4 comes out tomorrow. Shit's good. It's really good. Think Squid Games. Think Squid Games meets a teenage drama meets a murder mystery whodunit, if that makes sense. And it's all like, it's all like these teenagers trying to figure out like what's going on, like while they're playing this game, but they're also like having issues come up with themselves and everything like that. And the games are kind of weird and wonky, but it's it's fun. I liked it a lot. I thought it was pretty good. I think it's pretty good. Definitely think it's worth a watch. Another one of those that I think it's worth a watch. And then I think I've got one more that I'm watching right now, or that I started watching. No. There's one that I have that I don't want to say I started watching it because I legit am only on I'm only within like the first like couple of minutes of episode 1. It's called Requiem of the Rose King. It looked cool, like the cover and everything looked cool, but I haven't actually sat down and watched anything, so I can't give you any information on it. But it might be another one for people to go check out. Again, that's Requiem of a Rose King. Of course, all of these are available on Crunchyroll right now, or I believe Hulu as well. So definitely go if there's anything that any of the ones that you liked or thought you might want to go check out. Definitely go check those out. But yeah, no. With that being said, that's kind of all we got as far as like what we've been or what I've been watching right now. Mitch, you think that's all you got? You're watching
That's
right
all
now
I
too.
got. Yeah, just that one today.
Well, let's get into the main course. Mitch, last week we had Dalton in chat. I didn't want to say last week. For a while, we've had Dalton telling us about, you gotta go watch Berserk. You gotta watch Berserk. You gotta watch Berserk. You gotta watch Berserk. You gotta watch Berserk. Like says, I'm watching Shield Hero season 2 right now too, and this season gets so much unnecessary hate. I don't know why. I mean, it couldn't repeat the first season, and wait, I mean, it couldn't repeat the first season, and it's pretty early on. Let the plot begin. I had to give Shield Hero a shot. I had to go give Shield Hero a look or whatever.
So I've been considering doing Shield Hero after I was finished with Jobless Reincarnation.
Yeah.
But I just, you know how I am. I want the actual anime to finish before I start watching it. So that's what I'm kind of doing with this one. Yeah.
Well, don't you have season 1 to watch?
I do, but I'd like the entire season 2 to finish out.
Before you.
So I'm gonna want to watch season 2 if it comes out.
Okay. It's like we always do, Mitch. We only watch the first. So, like I said, Dalton's been trying to get us to watch Berserk for a minute. He's been getting us to try to watch it for a minute. We finally said that we found the original show on YouTube.
I almost watched the 2016 adaptation of it.
The 2016 one.
Almost watched it on accident.
We watched this looks too new. This looks
no way.
This looks too brand new, bro. No, so we, like we do with the shows, we do our reviews for the shows. We watch the first 6 episodes, determine if we want to keep going or if we want to keep going or if we want to stop, one way or the other. But we do a small review, I guess a review in progress, if you will, for the first 6. Mitch, with mild spoilers, how do you feel about the first 6 episodes of Berserk?
It kind of has been a very long road, I guess. I mean, you're still kind of, it's what you were talking about Dalton about earlier, like really earlier, and saying like the first 6 episodes kind of like lays the foundation for the show itself.
Yeah.
And I have never personally been a big fan of the older animations because they are older animations. Doesn't mean they aren't good. It's just I'm now used to the fast pace of what we have today. Yeah. So, I mean, like you have the still shot scenes when they're fighting that I'm like, oh man, I feel like that can be animated cooler if they're like, if it were to come out today. But with that being said, I did get to episode 6, and as he was fighting Zod, whatever his name is, as he was fighting him, I found myself getting a little bit more interested into it.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. When I first watched episode 1 and 2, I was like, I don't plan on watching the rest of this. I really didn't plan on watching the rest of it. But I'm not totally against it now because I mean, there's a little bit more to it, and I'm kind of intrigued by the story.
Yeah.
But my biggest quarrel was just getting over the fact that it was animated in the past.
Yeah.
So, action animes, I'm now used to them being animated in the future. So.
No, I definitely kind of second that opinion. It's funny because like, stuff like, I don't want to say Akira, but stuff like thinking about stuff like the shows from the 90s, right? Like why am I blanking on names? Tenchi Muyo, your Roni Kenshin's, your Berserks, your even Dragon Ball, like to an extent, right? A lot of these shows are products of their time. When I say products of their time, I mean more so Yu, I feel like is an exception to the rule, but that's neither here nor there. But I mean, at the same time,
that's the only exception to the rule.
But I'll say at the same time with Yu, and of course we're talking about Yu Yu Hakusho. Even with Yu Yu Hakusho, season 1 is a drag. Yeah. Season 1 is a bit of a drag. Like I like him going through fighting Kurama, fighting Kie, him dying and coming back, all that stuff with Keiko having to save his body and all that kind of stuff. Like it is a drag, right? Like I usually, like when I do my rewatches, I dread watching the first season, right? Even though it is kind of like the coolest concept, right? I still dread watching the beginning part of that first season. But once he comes back to life, right? And then he becomes the spirit detective, that's when things kind of kick up. That's when we meet Rando. That's when we meet the spirit beast dudes or whatever. And then the rest of season 2, and then you go, so on and so forth. It's all good or whatever. But storytelling back then, right? Like it's not just a product of like the animation style, right? But it's also a product of like how storytelling was back then. And you are correct in saying that like nowadays TVs, shows, movies, books. I can't say speak too much of books. I don't do a whole lot of reading, but the plot progression happens a lot faster nowadays than what it used to back in the day, right? Like I feel like back then it was kind of there was a little more like we spent a little more time with characters, but because we spent a little more time with characters, it the story tended to like drag a little bit more, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas like nowadays, like we do kind of have like the faster moving stories. Like we get pretty much straight to the point as soon as it's time to get straight to the point, right? Like we don't really waste any time. I think that has to do with like filler, like the idea of anime becoming more mainstream and people liking more material, and so they're able to people try to pay more attention to the source material as opposed to like pulling in and doing their own thing and stuff like that. That being said, I do agree with you that I think the first 6 episodes are not bad but not great, right? Like I think they take some of the things take too much time. I am left with a couple of questions as far as like who exactly, because like when you first meet Guts, not when you first meet Guts, but when Guts first meets Griffith, right? And I think Griffith sees the scar on his neck or something like that, like some kind of it's like a branding or something. There's like a cross symbol thing that's on his fucking neck. I believe it's when he meets Griffith. And Griffith's like, "Yo, what the fuck is that?" Like yeah, what the fuck is that? Like where the fuck did that come from? Like we're supposed to like it kind of acts like we know who Guts is already, but we don't really know who Guts is. He doesn't have the brand yet. I thought he did have the brand. Did he not have the brand in that episode?
No, he didn't have a brand. No.
Am I thinking of the first scene?
Think of the first scene probably, because I don't remember him having a brand. Because I know when they meet, they're fucking like he meets them when Guts is fighting the one big guy. That's when they first meet, and Guts still has his helmet on and everything.
Yeah.
And they fight each other for the first time. I don't remember seeing any type of branding on Guts' neck. Only thing that I know that Guts has is the scar he got from his, I guess, mentor or not mentor. Fucking, I don't know if he was a mentor or a friend, but the scar he got from that guy. That's the only thing that I remember seeing on Guts' face. Guts.
Okay. I think I'm remembering it. I think I am remembering it wrong then. Misremembering the that moment or whatever. But like, yeah, like I will. Okay, so that makes more sense than why I was questioning. Like, yo, where the fuck is the answers for what that brand is? Like, what is that? Like, what is the point of that? Right? No, I think it's a little a little long in the tooth. But it does kind of pick up once you get to episode 6, right? And they do go and they fight Zod, and we start to see like actual, like things aren't just like it's not just humans that we're fighting in this world. Like there actually are like demons and creatures and stuff like that. And I was kind of I think the one problem that I had with it, and I understood that we're trying to build this relationship between Griffith and Guts, but I never really got the feeling that they really were friends.
Griffith and Guts?
Yeah.
I mean,
not even Guts friends, but like
kind of fucking. He just kind of doesn't like anybody, though. I mean, he had the past that he had, and now he has like a hard time making a relationship with anybody around him. I don't really think that they're friends either. I mean, why do you say that?
Well, because like Griffith has like this weird like fascination with him, and like I feel like they are trying to.
It's like an Orochimaru Sasuke kind of thing.
You think so?
Kind of.
Why do you say that?
I mean, if you think, I mean, because I feel like he's using Guts. Griffith is using Guts like for his own goals at the end. He says when he's first talking to him that you're going to help me build my empire, and then Zod at the end of episode 6, when he was about to like kill Griffith, he ends up not killing him. He tells Guts that like I can't remember how he said it. He basically said something along the lines of like when
The
his
prophecy.
plans fall. Yeah, when his plans fall, because Griffith has that little demon thing.
Yeah.
When his plans fall, that's going to be the death of Guts.
Yeah.
So kind of like he's just using him in the situation, not really a friend to friend scenario. I mean, they've been fighting together for 3 years now, so I'm pretty sure they have a camaraderie.
Yeah, but see, I feel like I don't know. I just feel like they're not really. And maybe it's just like the way they're delivering like the lines and stuff like that. But I just don't feel like they're. There's something off there, right? Like it just feels weird. Like it felt like it was out of nowhere that Griffith had like this weird like affection for
It
Guts.
was
Like
out of nowhere.
I definitely think that like I definitely understand. I get the whole like he wants to use him for his power and stuff like that. But like watching that duel between the two of them, it felt like there was something more that was there. Like it wasn't just like an affection for, oh shit, you're strong. It was an affection, not like in a romantic sense, but like, oh, I want you to be around me. Like I want you to be a friend, or I want you to be like, I want to be closer to you. I guess I don't know. Something felt not believable there, if that makes sense.
I mean, I get that. I mean, again, I think that he's just using Guts for his own ambitions. So that's probably why you feel that way. But outside that, I never really
Yeah, no, it says
saw.
they aren't friends. Griff owns him from the
From
fight
the
they
duel.
had, and he's
Exactly.
he's property, not a friend. But
Exactly.
still, it still
Griffith,
feels like he's.
Griffith approaches it as if he's like trying to be friends with him and is nice and everything, and he admires him. I get
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think Guts sees it that way. That's the thing. It's not reciprocated by Guts. I mean, Guts has respect for him because he's strong, but outside
But
that,
doesn't Guts kind of treat it that way? Or you didn't watch episode? Yeah, you didn't watch episode 7. I said in the next episode, or at the end of that episode with the chick Caricia or something like that. I think is her name. She goes over and grabs Griffith. She starts crying and screaming, and she looks at him and she tells him that like this is all Guts' fault. Like everything is his fault for a while. Like Griffith, one, I thought was complete and utter bullshit. Because nobody told Griffith to follow him.
Nobody told Griffith to follow him.
As a matter of fact, Guts said, "Yo, everybody, y'all stay out here. Y'all keep this shit out here. I'm going there. I got it. I'll handle the business, right?"
He didn't say that.
And then everybody else wants to come in there. I really think she's upset because Griffith, and I think that's where like my feeling for there might be something more. Griffith. She definitely does. She wants Griffith to pay attention to her and only her, nobody else. Mm-hmm. And she's mad that he's paying attention as much attention as he's paying to Guts. When in reality, I feel like her and Guts are probably going to smash.
Probably.
I think her and Guts are going to.
Probably.
Cassie out here simping for Griff. Yo, 100%. 110%. But yeah, no, I feel like once you get into episode 7, because I did start watching some of the episode 7, or I think I finished episode 7. There's a moment where Griffith is down obviously because of the injury in the fight and everything, and what happened? Guts ends up walking away from where he is. He goes to try to see Griffith, but Cassia gets in the way. She's like, "Yo, no, you're not allowed to see him. It's only for friends and people that are important to him. You can't go see him," or something along those lines. He then leaves, and then he's he's frustrated. To me, the way I interpreted it felt like he was frustrated because he let his friend down.
Yeah.
And it was and then that's where the whole thing with me feeling like I'm not really buying that they're friends.
Yeah.
I feel like they're telling me they're friends. But not really showing me that they're friends. And I think that has something to do with not really getting to see the two of them in action. Yeah, together. In action like that for real. Whereas with something I don't want to I don't want to compare it to a Naruto, but using Naruto as an example, right? The show didn't tell us that Naruto and Sasuke were friends. They showed us that Naruto and Sasuke were friends by having them go out on these missions, do these things, interact with each other, bond with each other, right? A lot of the times when we see these battles, right, when we see the fights between where Griffith, and obviously like it makes sense why it happens because Griffith is the commander. He is the one in charge. But it's like Guts is down there on the ground. Guts is on his own thing. Cassie's on her own thing, and Griffith is all doing his own thing. They're never like, it never seems like they're working together. Like even in that battle plan, that battle fight right before Zod, she was like, yo, we built up these plans and you guys didn't follow through with your plans. I was like,
he's playing by himself a lot.
Well, why didn't you show us the plan so we could be like, yo, what the fuck?
What the fuck is he doing?
So yeah, so we could kind of be on like because right now
from what I saw, he took out the captain.
Exactly. So it's just like
done.
It's weird, and I think it is a product of. I think some of this does have to go with like the story, like how we were talking about storytelling, then versus storytelling now, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, no, I like I said, after episode 7, I'm interested to see where things go because I want to see more of the. I really want to just see more fights.
Yeah,
I think that's what I'm missing. And that's really just what I'm missing. I just want to see my fights. Well, you got to think Guts has never had a person to show interest in him before. Griffith is the first person he ever truly truly admire Guts's. I mean, you do see titties in the later episode. Guts is Griffith's the first person to ever truly admire Guts' skill, and I get that, and I understand why Griffith wants to keep Guts around because he does appreciate his skill, but it's just like it feels like there's like this undertone that the plot is trying to give me of like, hey, there's friendship happening here, but it doesn't really feel like they're really friends. It just feels like they're
a facade,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I thought, but I think it's pretty good. I think the first 7, I mean, we kind of already went into spoilers and everything. I think the first 6 to 7 episodes are pretty good. I do agree with you. I think it's really funny. I think it's funny to think that like we've watched 7 episodes of this show and the coolest fight scenes, right? This is supposed to be like a dark action fantasy show. The coolest fight scenes are from episode 1 so far, are from episode 1 and then episode 6, right? And like even episode 6's fight scene with Zod really wasn't even all that because I thought about how doofy it looked. When Griffith and Guts were like going into like attack Zod, and Griffith they were like, yeah, all right, you go right, I go left or whatever, and they do it, and Griffith does like this cool ass fucking like sword slash on Zod's arm, cuts Zod's arm off, and fucking Guts does this dumbass fucking thrust,
jab,
he just stabs his arm. I'm just like, yo, and absolutely did not like you're not helping your cause at all. If anything, you pissed him off. Like you just pissed him off. That's all you did. I did like when he picked up the arm and fucking smacked the shit out of Griffith and knocked his ass into the wall. That was pretty funny. Yeah, no, I kind of just want more fights, bro. I want to see more fighting. That's kind of what I would want out of like if we watch the next 6 episodes. That's what I would want to see more of is getting more fighting and kind of getting more of like finally getting an antagonist, right? Because I don't really feel like, obviously because they're bandits. They're a group of bandits. They all, the Hawks are a bandit group. They don't really have loyalties to anybody or anything, right?
They go from place to place and just create new foes.
Yeah, right.
That's going on. Yeah.
I kind of want to see what. I kind of would like a core antagonist to show up.
Yeah,
because I feel like we're kind of just going from place to place to place to place.
Oh, we are.
And it doesn't really mean anything for me, right? Like it doesn't really like in the next episode. Yeah, exactly. In episode was it episode 6 or was it episode 7 where he gets knighted by one of the kings? I think it's episode 7.
Episode 6.
6 Griffith gets.
Griffith? Yeah.
Yeah, Griffith. It's episode 6. Okay, yeah. So Griffith gets knighted by one of the kings in episode 6 because of his duties in the previous battle against like Zod and everything. What's the point of that? Like,
no idea.
What are these kingdoms? Can we get a breakdown of the kingdoms?
No idea, boss man.
Who is a demon? Where did the demons come from? Right? Like, oh shit, there are demons here. What's this little? I know we're not gonna get answers on like what the little red shit is around his neck until later on. And I know that these are just some of the things that like show up within the first 6 episodes, but like, I lost my train of thought. There it is.
You were talking about what any answers to stuff.
We need answers to stuff. Yeah, no, it's gone.
Okay.
Train of thought's gone. Train of thought is gone. The train has left the station.
Okay.
Choo choo. But yeah, no, I think I'm gonna give it a try. I think I'm gonna watch the next 6. And see what happens. And the reason why I kind of want to watch the next 6 is because I would like to eventually go back and watch the Golden Arc 1, 2, and 3 movies. Because all those are like an hour and like 12 minutes long. I went and looked it up, but they're all on Netflix. You can watch them right now on Netflix or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'd like to compare and contrast the two of them because halfway through that first one, the first movie, is the fight that we just watched.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, so there's obviously a lot more to the story. And obviously there's, 26 episodes in this thing in total. So obviously we have another 20 episodes and there's a lot of shit that can happen in 20 episodes. But I think if we watched it, I think if I watched the movies, I probably would have been way more invested in it just because the sequences would have been a little bit cooler.
Mm-hmm.
And because, just because it is something that, I'm not really feeling, or because it's an animation style, like an older animation style. They don't animate like they used to animate, or they don't animate like that anymore. They animate a little bit better. It's kind of hard to watch. I hope that makes sense. I feel like that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. That's how I'm feeling too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no. You got anything else? Any final thoughts? Any words? Closing words? Arguments?
Excuse my coughing. No. I mean, if you wanted to see, I feel like it's one of those kind of like Akira, where I don't know, maybe Dalton was just really hyping it up. I never heard anyone else talk about the anime itself. If you want to go ahead and give it a watch, like one of the beginning action animes. I mean, when did Yu Yu Hakusho come out?
I think like it's around the same time.
Was it before? You think it was before or after?
Yu Yu Hakusho. Before.
That makes it even worse for this.
Yu Yu Hakusho, the first episode aired in 92. The last episode aired in 95. And Berserk is 97. Mm-hmm.
That makes it worse. That makes it worse. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think Dalton, next time you give us an anime recommendation, don't hype it up as much. Not because you don't give good recommendations. It's because I went in there expecting a lot of good things, and like I think I have over expectations for the series because it's like you hype it up so much, saying it's the best anime of all time. I mean, it's okay.
Well, I think so. You know what's crazy? You know what I think it is? I think because I was thinking about this today, like as I was walking around the house, kind of prepping for the show and everything. I was thinking that like I feel like if I would have watched this at a younger age, I would have thought this was really good.
Yeah, and that's what I think ended up happening in Dalton's situation. That's one of the first. I don't know, Dalton, if that's one of the first animes you watched or anything like that. But I mean, I'm assuming Dalton probably watched it when he was younger, so it's kind of one of his core animes that he's watched.
Yeah,
we all have our core, stuff we grew up with, so we're gonna love it more than anything else.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what ended up happening here. But I mean, again, the animation isn't bad. It's just from. Oh, you about to die. It's just from back in.
Hold on. Give me a second. Yo, motherfucking DJ Inferno, 14 months in a row, baby. What's good, big dog? That shit, the fucking alert. You were in the middle of going into like this deep thing, and the fucking alert just started fucking playing. What up, bro? Appreciate you. Thank you so much, dog. Thank you. Mitch, as you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's good. It has good animation, but it has the 97 animation. So if you're okay with watching that style, I would recommend it. I mean, I don't have problems with it. It's not good, it's not bad, but I've only watched the first 6 episodes.
Yeah.
And I was getting interested at the end of episode 6 just because I know there was more than just like humans fighting humans.
Yeah.
Kind of scenario. There's more to it, but we're also at a point where we're 6 episodes deep, and like you said a second ago, we still don't have a protagonist.
Yeah, and I think the reason why I say I feel like if I was younger, I would, and I guess I wouldn't even say younger, right? I feel like if this was 10 to 15 years ago that I watched this, right? Like maybe keep me at the age that I am now, but take me back 10 to 15 years from 10 to 15 years ago, where it wasn't as easy and shit. I mean, even 10 years ago, it's 2012. That's like, I mean, Crunchyroll's like it's in its early days, right? So you can get to Crunchyroll like no problem.
Mm-hmm.
Early 2000s, take you back to the early 2000s, right? Like get yourself like removed from when Berserk was first coming out and put myself in the early 2000s, if that makes sense. If you're living in an era when I'm trying to put myself in an era where like getting anime is not as easy as it is now, right? So I feel like it's one of those things where it's like, because we can watch something that one is shorter and two, because it's shorter, it happens a lot faster. We would prefer to watch that over something that is a little more drawn out and does take a little more time to build the foundation, stuff like that.
That's kind of where that's where my point was coming into all this. Like, I have a hard time knowing the pacing that we have today versus back then.
Yeah.
I have a hard time recommending to anybody currently. I mean, if I know the person's a big fan of anime, they've been watching it for a while, they haven't given it a check out, then yeah, I'll tell them to go ahead and watch it. But like, as a first anime for anyone to watch today, when we have the pacing that we do have in whatever series, because most animes nowadays only get 12 episodes because you don't know if you're getting season 2. Yeah. So you have to tell the best part of your story pretty early on. Yeah. And
let's get them hooked by that 6th episode,
or get them hooked. Yeah, exactly. They have to be hooked. Honestly, no. Most animes today, you probably have to be hooked by episode 3. I think. I don't necessarily think you give them. Most people probably. I don't think they're watching 6, man. I think we're giving people too much credit. Most people are probably gonna watch 3 episodes of an anime, and if it's interesting, they'll keep watching it. If not, they're gonna push away. You gotta realize, man. You gotta think. A lot of people. I mean, thanks to TikTok and all these other things, our attention span is like that, dude. We move on to the next thing super fast. So if we're not hooked in by episode 3, I don't think we're gonna watch it.
That's fair. I mean, I would like to give, I guess, more credit to like the people that would, I feel like people would stick around to like if you're somewhat interested, right? Like, I feel like I feel like there's a difference between being like, wanting to be hooked and then being somewhat interested. No, not hooked and somewhat interested. Excuse me. I feel there's a difference between the casual person that watches anime, and then damn, I feel like even that's hard to like. Even that's not really an accurate thing. What I'm saying is, I think people give it till 6 episodes, and then by the 6th, like that's usually when people decide whether or not they're going to stick further, or move on and go to something else, and move on and go. Yeah, who knows? But yeah, no, I think I'm gonna do the next 6. I don't know about if Mitch is gonna do the next 6. If I think we should do the next 6. I think we should do the next 6 now. Make the next 6 episodes. Next week's review.
I'll give the next 6 solely because of the fact that
you're interested.
I was interested at the end of episode 6.
Hopefully, it doesn't pull a ranking of King.
Hopefully, it doesn't pull a ranking of Kings and has me not interested, because I'm very upset.
Yeah. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
I had a hard time watching these first 6 episodes. I know. I mean, I was paying attention, but I was also working, so like, I wasn't paying as much attention because I just didn't see anything interesting. It didn't pull me away. I've had anime when I know anime is good when it's pulling me away from my work. So like, I'll watch, and I watch a lot of new animes like while I'm working, everything like that, because I mean, I don't only need to hear if a fight scene's good enough. That's when I turn over and look. I mean, I don't really necessarily need to see 2 people talking to each other. I can just hear it. So I know it's really good when it's pulling me away from my work, and they didn't really pull me away from my work. But again, it's just the first 6 episodes, so maybe the next 6 will be better.
But with that being said, like, because I'm now kind of coming into like the wrap up portion of the show. Do you have anything that you would want to watch for next week? Or that you would want us to watch?
I'm cool with doing this.
Okay. So what we'll do is we'll do episodes 6 through 12 for next week's show. So if you haven't already, like I said, down in the comment section below, in the Twitch chat, I will post it here in a second. The link for where you can go and watch Berserk free on YouTube. Somebody has graciously put up all 26 episodes. Definitely go check those out. Leave a like and comment and all that kind of stuff on their channel. Let them know that RGG sent you. But we will be doing the next. We'll do the next 6 episodes. That'll be next week's review discussion and everything, and we'll figure out if we're gonna watch the show all the way through and through to the end. But yeah, no, I don't have anything else. Mitch, you got anything else?
Mm.
No.
No, sir.
Well, thanks everybody for watching. This course has been another one of your regular anime guys. Tuesday showcase show review thing, discussion stuff that we. As always, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe. But until next time, guys, love y'all. Adios.